Simon, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, lovely. Lovely to hear your voice, chap.
You're such a charmer, honestly.
Oh, well, look at the amount of hair I've got on my head. I'm basically just a furball. That's basic.
Well, you've got more hair than I have, so you're doing well.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I hope you're well in these weird and wonderful times we're in.
I'm as well as I can be.
So how this works is continuous cars. Is I draw the image of it without taking the pen off the paper. So once that pen's down, I draw a continuous line, and then once that basic outline is done, I then use all these colours that are around here to make this beautiful greeny yellow Honda E on the screen. Yeah, cool.
Wow.
So we'll do that. So I'm going to start now. You explain who you are, and then talk about this product, and then anything else Honda. That'd be cool. I'm going to start right now. So go ahead.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Hi, hello. So my name is Simon. I work in the PR team at Honda UK. I've been there for just over 5 years now. Joined as a contractor, and then got made permanent in December. And I joined as maternity cover, and they haven't managed to get rid of me since, which is personally it's great for me. I've been responsible for cars pretty much all the time, but one of the things I love working about Honda is we don't just make cars, we make we make everything in between. So I think the best way to describe it is we make everything from a 25cc leaf blower to a £3.8 million business jet, and everything in between. I'm one of the lucky few. In fact, I say few. I'm the only one in the UK business that's actually been on the Honda jet.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it was for work, obviously. I took some journalists.
Obviously.
Yeah, I took some journalists to France for lunch.
If only we could do that now.
Oh, do you know what? It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? If only we could leave our houses now. That would be nice.
I mean, those were the days. Those heathen days of being able to leave the house.
Yeah, just nip off to the supermarket without a care in the world, without having to queue up, and then, do you know what? So I was at the supermarket the other day, and there's a security guard. And do you remember when you were a kid and you used to go to the leisure centre, and there'd be some bloke on the slides, and he'd literally look at you and nod, and it was your turn. It was like that going into the supermarket. I thought, this is
yeah,
bizarre, very bizarre.
Well, if it helps, Taz, who's my wife, she went to the shops and she left her wallet in the car, and then she got ID'd at the till. So yeah.
Lucky her.
Yeah.
It's not very lucky when you haven't got alcohol in the house to get through for a whole week. So yeah.
Yeah. So we got food, but no beverages to enjoy it with. Anyways, slight. Anyway, right. So that was a lovely. Yeah, those were the days. So you've been on the jet, and you do everything in between.
On the jet. So I should probably talk about this car, really.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to drive it several times, and the first proper time I actually drove the car was up the hill at the Goodwood Festival of Speed last summer.
No pressure at all there.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it was fairly daunting, but I was... you have to have a race licence to drive up the hill during Goodwood Festival of Speed, and... as a bit of a backup, myself and my colleague have both got race licences just in case for those opportune moments. And it came down to it, and my boss said to me, right, I think you might have to drive up the car up the hill. And I'm like, look, can you get someone else to do this? There's quite a lot of pressure. It's like a £2 million prototype car we're driving up the hill. If I stack that car, I will probably be fired or sacked, same thing, and B, that's going to be slightly embarrassing in front of God knows how many tens of thousands of people.
I mean, at the same time, you'll become internet famous. So, I mean, there's a benefit, possibly.
There's a big difference between famous and infamous, and I don't really want to be the latter.
Oh, I get it wrong. I always get it wrong. Sorry.
I'm such a smart ass, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we got down to Goodwood, and eventually got told, you're going to have to do this. I was like, okay, fine. Look at that.
That's what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, outline done. Now to make it that pretty green thing on the screen. So that's the basic outline done. So you're at the start of the Goodwood Hill climb. How was it? What was it like?
Very nerve-wracking. The amusing thing was I had to have the Japanese large project lead. So basically, the head of all Honda E was sat next to me in the car, and to make sure that I didn't do anything that I shouldn't do. And obviously that's not going to happen because I really don't want to do anything dodgy or crash the car. So we basically trundled up to the line. I just said to the marshal, I said, look, I'm not going to be driving fast. Please make sure you leave a nice big gap between me and the car behind me.
And what was behind you?
An Aston Martin electric car that was, ridiculously fast. And so that Aston Martin behind me caught me up, basically after the first corner, which is by the house, and then proceeded to weave all over the back of the car, getting increasingly agitated as I trundled up the hill at about 30 miles an hour, with the windows down and with Tina Turner on full volume, literally waving to people out the window. And people are waving back going, who's he? Who's he? Nobody, that's all right, I'm nobody, but I'm loving it and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and the Japanese man said to me, you can go faster, you can drive a bit quicker. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I can, but I don't want to. So after that, we got put to the back of the queue because I said to the marshals, look, let me go last. I'm not doing that again. And the Aston Martin wants to drive fast. I don't particularly want to drive fast. I just want to get up there in one piece. It was quite amusing. And then the following day, I had a competition winner from MasterCard get in the car with me, and everything was delayed. So this guy who I've never met before basically sat in the car with me for about an hour and a half while we made small talk, waiting for us to get to the front of the queue, which was. I had a great time, but I think he was probably fairly bored by the end of it. Please
tell me you had Tina Turner still playing away in there as well. I mean, that would be a key thing for me.
Yeah, I'm not an amateur. Of course I did. It was brilliant.
The greatest hits again. And again.
Bless her. There's probably about 2 or 3, isn't there? Controversial. But yeah, the previous day, I've been stood over by the car in the paddock, and the Duke of Richmond came over. And he's can't wait to drive this car, it's going to be really exciting. And I was like, look, I'm driving this car up the hill tomorrow, do you have any pieces of advice? And he went, yes. He said, do not drive fast, do not drive more than you're capable of or more than you feel comfortable. He said, you will not be remembered for driving slow, but you will be remembered for crashing. It's like, that is very good advice.
Wise words. So in terms of this car, in terms of production, in terms of, is it ready? Is it still pre-production, or is it now you can order it? How does it work with this car?
Yeah, so you can order it online on the Honda website, honda.co.uk. Just get that plug in there, and they're being produced at the moment, and the car should be in. Well, it should be in showrooms probably from June. However, that very much depends on what's going on with COVID-19 and the coronavirus.
Yeah.
We've got quite a strong order bank already for this car, so people have already placed their orders. People have already paid their deposit and are in the queue waiting for the cars to arrive. And what I will say is the car is huge amounts of fun. It's great fun to drive. It's very, very quick. Obviously, it's an electric car, so it's fairly rapid off the starting line. But the turning circle is so small. It's actually tighter than a London cab.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in terms of manoeuvrability around city centres, it's absolutely bang on.
So I mean, in terms of the Honda E is essentially Honda's first fully electric car, yeah?
Yes, that is correct.
And what is the range on it? How far can it go? And other official figures on that yet, or is it still kind of there?
Numbers. So the range on the car is depends on which wheels you have. If you have the 16s, I believe it will do 136 miles, and if you have the 17-inch wheels, it'll do 127. The car, when we launched the car, it was called the Urban EV Concept, which, a bit like a bit of a Ron Seal moment. The clues are there. It does what it says on the tin, and it's very much a designed for urban living. If we wanted to launch the long-range motorway cruiser, we would have called it that, but we didn't. It's the Urban EV Concept, and it's designed for city living and short journeys. And when you consider most people's their commute is roughly around 30 miles, it's bang on for that. In terms of a 0 to 60, I believe it'll do it in about 8 seconds. Other numbers, I think it's got a 35.5 kilowatt hour battery, which is water cooled, and that sits underneath the shell of the car, so it's kind of underneath the seats. What else to tell you? The infotainment system, oh my goodness, that is amazing. It's got 5. Hang on, how many screens has it got? It's got side camera mirror system as standard, so you don't have to pay extra for that. And that's basically cameras on the side of the doors rather than wing mirrors.
Yeah. So these are actually, folks. These are the cameras here. This little bump here is the camera. Cool.
Yeah, and it's rear wheel drive. But yeah, those answering someone's question, and then these 5 screens along the front, so you've got your 2 side camera mirror systems, and you've got a display in front of the driver, which gives you all your speed, the amount of fuel you've got left, all the indicators, all the lights that you need, and then next to it, kind of towards the centre of the car and towards the passenger, it's got 2 12-inch screens which you can flip content between. So you can have the sat nav in the middle screen, and then the passenger can be looking for a playlist on Spotify, or can be looking for, we're really hungry, let's go over to this restaurant here, where is it, how'd you get to it? And they can be doing the searching for it. Or they can say, what's the I don't know, they've got all sorts of technology they can view on that, and then they can flip it into the driver's eye view. It's also got a feature where you can view an aquarium, a simulated aquarium, like just a computer-generated aquarium, which is typical Honda, which is brilliant. But it's also got, and we had this on the launch. We launched the car to media in Valencia in the end of January, and the guys launching the car on our European team, because the car's got an HDMI port and it's got a 3-pin plug, they brought along a mini Super Nintendo. So the journalists, while they were obviously reviewing this car, when they parked up for lunch and the car was on charge, we plugged in this Super Nintendo and they were playing Mario Kart and Super Mario World and Street Fighter 2, which is just hilarious.
That sounds good. It sounds like a good launch. I like that.
It was that launch. Well, the launch was interesting because it was right in the middle of storm, whatever it was, which was the worst storm to hit Valencia in about 20 years. And we had some journalists that were supposed to land into Valencia, and instead of landing in Valencia, they landed in Madrid, which is obviously not ideal. So we had to transport those people from Madrid to Valencia on a 4-hour bus ride. It was not good. It was not good. But the crosswinds, the wind, it was so windy, it was just ridiculous. But they all got to enjoy the car. They've all media's driven the car. It's probably worth doing a bit of a search if you want to see some reviews on the car. I think for the most part people enjoyed it.
I mean, the weather you can't do much about. The car you can. So that's cool. So I presume have you been out to out to Japan? Have you been to Tokyo? And I remember seeing have you done the Mario Kart thing across the street to Tokyo or not?
That was a strategic media relations building exercise.
Of course.
So yes, I've not been to the factory where we make the Honda E, which is I believe in Yori, so Yori plant. But we went out. I took some media out to Tokyo a couple of years ago, 2017, for the motor show, and it turned into potentially what was one of the most epic motor show trips that I've ever done. I hope the media's ever experienced. We landed in the middle of a typhoon, which was interesting to say the least. I'm getting constant updates from Honda. I probably shouldn't admit to this. From Honda saying, don't go outside, don't take the media anywhere, don't do anything. Just keep an eye on the weather, make sure you're behaving yourself. Like, yeah, absolutely. So we originally had this plan. Well, first day we arrived there in the middle of typhoon. We did Mario Kart around Tokyo, dressed as Mario Kart characters.
Yeah, done it myself.
Toad.
Yeah.
I've never been so wet.
But it is like that whole thing is ridiculous, isn't it? It's the best thing to do, but it's so scary. And we did it.
When you're driving around Tokyo in a go-kart essentially, and you're on the floor, and the fire trucks next to you, their wheels are bigger and taller than you are.
Yep.
And I made sure that every time I was next to something that was quite big, I'd make sure I was waving to the drivers so they could see me, so they wouldn't drive across and squash me, basically.
And what other did you get to see much of anywhere else in Tokyo, or was it just the show and a bit of karting, or? We did a couple of things which were absolutely outstanding. So we went out to the Honda Collection Hall at Motegi, the Twin Ring Motegi, which is a Honda-owned racetrack. And the Collection Hall is basically, it's like a museum to Honda. So the ground floor is given over to, on one side, it's basically the development of the Asimo robots, which is fascinating and kind of a bit Skynet terrifying in equal measures, but mainly awesome. And then the next two floors are given over to cars and bikes. So one side is cars, one side is bikes. Two more floors, one is racing, one is road cars, and that's amazing. Then another day we did a performance drive out to Mount Fuji. We took NSX and Civic Type R, and one of my journalists set fire to the brakes of the Civic Type R. Which was just... That's a nice present.
He had a whale of a time. I just hope no one from Japan is watching this, so they don't find out. I mean, granted, it was 3 years ago, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
So in terms of like the heritage fleet and stuff that you got in the UK, what's the car you got? That's the one I like. That's the one I'd like to have the weekend or whatever.
What? Sorry, me? What's
my So if any of the heritage press fleet, which one is the one you go for?
And I have to stay with Honda, yeah?
Have a choice of if you go for the press fleet, the Honda press fleet at the moment, into the heritage.
Oh, and the heritage fleet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. So, do you know, purely from a because I've not spent that much time with it at all, I would take the new NSX. Just from the sheer show-off point of view, because that's just the capabilities that are ridiculous. I remember going on the launch for that in 2016, and we had a racing driver coaching us around the track, and he kept saying to me, "Why are you being such a wimp?" That's a nice way of putting it. "Why are you being such a wimp? Why are you braking so early? What is wrong with you?" I'm like, because I don't want to die, and because I'm not entirely sure of the capabilities of this car. You've been driving it around here permanently for the last 3 weeks. This is my second lap. Give me a break. Then he took me around in the car again, and I'll tell you something, how late he was braking was utterly terrifying, but the car just kept on giving. That was astonishing. I'd also have to say I love the Honda E, and I love the Civic Type R. So I actually have a Civic Type R as my car, and it's parked out on the driveway at the moment, and it hasn't moved properly for probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 days. And you get into the car now, and it's like get behind the wheel. It's like, it's a holiday. It's excitement because I've not driven for so long. Just the excitement of driving a car.
Yeah, it's like my wife. She gets all dolled up just to go to the supermarket. Yeah, she's like it's an event. I can go out.
Yeah. Bit of aftershave. Make sure the hair's looking good.
Yeah. I've just got far too much hair. That's a problem at the moment. So it's but we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Well, I shall keep chunkering on at you.
Yeah.
And then from a heritage perspective, God, what do I love from the heritage fleet? Do you know what I love driving? I love driving the insides.
Oh, that's cool, isn't it? The inside.
That's just so cool. It's like a little, this little bubble car. That's just it's just brilliant fun.
Because that was quite before its time, wasn't it? That was a hybrid.
Yeah, it was a hybrid. Yeah, it was a battery assist hybrid, and it was before its time. It was I think we beat. I'll probably get told off by Toyota fans for this, but I think we beat Toyota to market by about 3 weeks, something ridiculously short like that, because they had the Prius. But then they kept on selling the Prius, and unfortunately we ditched the insides. Again, we're just down to demand for us. But do you know what I also like driving as well? I also like driving the CRX.
Oh, nice.
So we've is it the CRX? No, it's not CRX. CRZ. Sorry, CRZ. Should know my own products. Yeah, the CRZ. So talking of CRX, we've got probably about a month before lockdown occurred. We got thank you. We got a CRX on Press Fleet, a D-Reg 1986, 85, something like that. CRX, which needs a bit of work doing to it, but then once we've got it, that's going to be awesome. Because it's literally in mint condition, which is brilliant. No. But then the CRZ, the thing I love about that car is you're driving along and it's got these electric controls on the side of the steering wheel to give you a little bit of boost. And you don't move a muscle in the car. You press the buttons and you go quicker. It's amazing. I love Honda technology. Obviously I should do because I work there. Yeah,
it's such a certainly when I went out to Japan, it was like the thing about Japanese culture is so efficient and so it's like you go to Japan, you feel like you're in another world of everything. Just seems a little bit in the future than what we are in the UK.
But also the reason I like going to Japan is that it's completely alien, it's completely foreign, it's completely different. You go over to France or Germany, and you can kind of work out what they're saying because the letters are not saying, but you can kind of work out what's going on in terms of if you see the language, because you can, the letters make sense to you. But going around Tokyo, where everything is just in complete, because it's written in Japanese, I don't know what the letters mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes it an adventure. It makes it exciting. It makes it different. It makes it unique, and that's. Yeah, I love going to Japan. It's amazing. Yeah, no, it's
I was so fortunate to go and experience it, and so polite. Everybody's just so polite.
Yes, they are very polite.
And they're
very, very polite. Yeah, I miss it. I haven't been for 3 years. You've been more recently than I have. Yeah,
there was we was 3. Yeah, we had 3 weeks, and we travelled the whole country really. And to Hiroshima, and we cycled a bit and all sorts. So it was good. It was good. So we're just putting the shading underneath it now. So, but thank you so much for spending a bit of time whilst I draw. Right, I think Mr. Simon Branney, number 227 of this all is pretty much there.
It's done.
So thank you so much for taking part and talking about it. And hopefully, I'm just gonna do a little bit down there. Just needs a little bit more.
There it is. So the Honda E is for sale from just over £26,000. or $2.99 a month, I believe.
Ta-da. So hopefully you can see the image and the artwork. Done in 4 minutes.
Love it.
Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated.